Building spiritual muscle. At an ever-increasing rate, precious souls are finding their way to me with some of these common conditions: unhappiness, discontent, anger, depression, and a host of other conditions which may generally be described as a low-level but growing malaise. The conversation always invites me to ask these souls what their spiritual practice consists of. One dear soul informed me of a plethora of practices and faith communities they lend their belief systems to. When I asked how these practices and beliefs manifest themselves in their daily life, the response I received was daily. I sometimes go for weeks without having any interaction with these communities and corresponding faith practices. Another dear soul showed and shared with me how their life was full of extremes of highs and lows. And they went on to share that whenever they were at a low in their life, they turned to sacred scripture to help them move back to a place of peace. I asked them if they continued to study their sacred scripture when they were in a place of peace. And their response was, why would I do that? When I'm at peace, why would I read sacred scripture? When I'm at peace, I don't need any of this spiritual stuff. I smiled gently and I asked this dear soul, why is it you're using God as a spare tire? Why not let God drive the car? My question was met with a blank stare, your characteristic deer in the headlights look when someone has been awakened to a new truth about themselves. I'm increasingly curious by seekers expressing confusion about the relationship between their inner peace and their spiritual practice. When should I practice? Where should I practice? What should I practice? How often should I practice? How do I develop a discipline and dedication to maintaining a spiritual practice that brings me peace? At a recent discussion group, another dear soul asked me, how do I build spiritual muscle? I asked this person how one normally builds physical muscle. The response was, well, one goes to the gym on a regular basis and engages in some other form of physical exercise. I responded back, well, that's exactly how you build spiritual muscle. You show up at a designated place for your workout and you pump iron. And you commit yourself to a regular schedule for these workouts. The when, where, what, how long, and how often of these workouts is entirely up to each individual soul. But you are invited to create a spiritual workout that works for you, that resonates with you. Maybe you will pray, meditate, or do yoga on a regular basis. Maybe your form of building spiritual muscle involves going to services at your local faith or spiritual community, or reading sacred scripture or teachings. Whatever the form that works for you, practice it with dedication and discipline. While it is written that some spiritual adepts transform themselves into spiritual masters in an instant, for many it takes a lifetime of dedication and effort. From the gratitude practice that begins my day, to my daily yoga, meditation, reading of sacred scriptures and other spiritual teachings, to my daily ministry of service, to the prayer and meditation that ends my day. I use these times to bring me out of the world of the ego and materialism and into my relationship with my God self. To devote so much time on a daily basis to spiritual practice may not be in the cards for everyone. And I know my spiritual practice, however, is a minimum requirement to enable me to stay in my heart space. For you, it may require much less time on a daily basis, and if that's so, that's great. Whatever works for you is what works for you. But find what works for you, build your workout regimen, commit to yourself, and stick with it. Your heart and soul will thank you for it. and so will everyone else.